Have you ever heard of a superpower that just vanished from the history books? Well, today we're diving into a really fascinating book that uncovers one of those lost kingdoms, the powerful, mysterious, and, as it turns out, world-shaping empire of the Khazars.
All right, let's just jump straight into the heart of the mystery, because this is what makes their story so wild. At the absolute peak of their power, the Khazars made a choice that seems to make no sense for the time. I mean, you've got Christianity on one side, Islam on the other, both expanding like crazy. So why on earth did this massive Turkic empire choose Judaism?
And believe me, when we say superpower, we mean it. For more than 300 years, they weren't just some minor tribe. They were the dominant force in Eastern Europe. They controlled a huge territory and brought so much stability that historians actually call this period the Pax Khazarica, the Khazar peace. For centuries, they were the main event.
Just look at this timeline. We're talking about a run of more than 3 centuries. They burst onto the scene in the 600s, hit their golden age, and for hundreds of years, their power was the deciding factor for the future of both Europe and Asia.
So, what was their secret sauce? How did they get so powerful? Well, it really boiled down to 4 key pillars. First, they had a seriously formidable army. Second, they controlled the most vital trade routes. Think of them as the gatekeepers of commerce. Third, a really sophisticated political system. And fourth, the one that really set them apart, a policy of religious tolerance that was just unheard of for its time.
Okay, so let's get back to that big question about their conversion. I want you to put yourself in the shoes of the Khazar king. To your south and west, you've got the Christian Byzantine Empire getting bigger and stronger. To your south and east, the Islamic Caliphate is on the march. You are literally caught between a rock and a hard place. You have to make a choice. And what a dilemma it was. It was a lose-lose situation. If they chose Christianity, they'd basically become a puppet state for the Byzantine emperor. If they chose Islam, they'd be swallowed up by the Arab Caliphate. Either way, they would lose their independence, the very thing they fought so hard for.
And this is where the book's analysis is just brilliant. Their choice wasn't just about faith, it was a stroke of geopolitical genius. By choosing Judaism, a major religion that, crucially, didn't have a big empire behind it, they were making a powerful statement. They were declaring their total independence from both of the other superpowers. They weren't going to be anybody's pawn.
This unique identity they carved out for themselves led to a truly remarkable kind of society. I mean, how do you fairly govern an empire with so many different peoples and religions? The Khazars came up with an answer that was literally centuries ahead of its time. They created a supreme court where justice was handled by judges from every single one of the major faiths in their empire. And get this, look at the breakdown of the court. 2 judges for the Jewish faith, 2 for Muslims, 2 for Christians, and 1 to represent the traditional Tengri and Slavic pagan faiths. This wasn't just, live and let live. This was institutionalized fairness built right into the legal system. It's absolutely incredible. But the story doesn't stop there. As the author points out, this decision to stay independent had an even bigger impact on world history than anyone realizes. For centuries, the Khazar Empire acted as a massive, solid barrier, a buffer state that would change everything. For the better part of 100 years, the Khazars fought a series of absolutely brutal wars against the Arab caliphates along the Caucasus Mountains. And they won. They fought them to a complete standstill, single-handedly stopping the push of Islam into what would later become Russia and Eastern Europe. This quote really says it all, doesn't it? Just think about that for a second. If the Khazars had lost those wars, if that barrier had broken, the entire religious and cultural map of Europe as we know it would look completely different today. These forgotten wars truly altered the course of history.
But of course, no empire lasts forever. And after centuries of holding that critical line, that barrier, which seemed unbreakable for so long, finally fell.
And its collapse set off a massive domino effect. First, the new rising power in the north, the Kiev Rus, defeated them. And with the Khazars gone, that protective gate they had formed was just thrown wide open. Suddenly, all the other Turkic tribes they had shielded were exposed, and Islam began to spread among them at an incredible speed. And here is the final, mind-blowing conclusion the book presents. The fall of this one Jewish Turkic empire is what directly paved the way for the rise of the next wave of great Islamic Turkic empires. The collapse of that Khazar barrier didn't just change the neighborhood, it created the conditions for the Seljuks and, down the line, the Ottomans to rise to power.
So let's just recap the incredible story this book pieces together. We have a forgotten empire that chose Judaism as a brilliant survival strategy. They built a society that was unbelievably tolerant for its time. They acted as a shield that shaped the destiny of Europe, and their collapse completely transformed the Turkic world and set the stage for future empires. It's truly a lost chapter of our history.
Which leaves us all with one big question. How much of the world we live in today was truly shaped by this forgotten Jewish empire? The full story, with all the incredible details and evidence, is right there, waiting to be discovered in the book The Jewish Empire of the Khazars.